Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your April connection session. I am Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. And what's not all whatever. So, anywho, we're gonna go ahead and jump into you guys' cards to see what is going on with you all. Okay. I get it. For the month of April. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the cards for you guys, more specific spread for continuity and what's not on whatever. Okay, we got this one here. Bam and bam. All righty. So the card coming out representing Sagittarius for the month of April. Let me cover up her boobs. We have the world in the reverse. So this, of course, aligns with the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, as well as Aquarius, if that is relevant for you. But what it is looking like, Sag, in the month of April, you guys are dealing with some unfinished business from your past. So some loose ends that need to be tied up. And with it being Mercury retrograde, now would be an opportune time to do said thing, because this is a time for more or less like reflection. So I would say whether that's personally or in reference to any romantical connections, anything from your past that, you guys may not have clarity on, or if you're, kind of on the fence about someone or something, now would be the opportune time to kind of tie up those loose ends in reference to that and to get some clarity so that you're able to, move forward baggage free and whatnot or whatever. Now, your person of interest is showing up as the Two of Chalices. So your person is feeling harmonious. Your person is feeling very much connected, ready to chart forward emotionally. So they're pretty clear on where it is that they stand. So I could more or less say if this is someone, you guys are currently dealing with, they're pretty clear and pretty sure on how it is that they want to move forward with you, or they're pretty clear and sure that they're wanting to move forward into a romantical connection, right? So say, if they've been single for a while, like if this is someone you're just meeting, they've been single for a while, now they're really clear that they're at a place that they want to commit, or that they do want a relationship. So why I would say why this is coming up for you guys, Sag, is whether this is someone you guys are newly dating or this is someone who's going to be coming into the fold in the near future, it would behoove you to kind of wrap up this cycle that you guys are about to come out of, and making sure that you're clear so that you're able to move forward, like I said, without baggage, much like how your person of interest is showing up. Now, the energy between the two of you, interesting. We have the Four of Pentacles. So there's a tad bit of holding back. And I mean, this could be for one of a couple of reasons. Like I said, it's Mercury retrograde. Now is not the idealistic time to be starting new connections and things. But I do kind of feel it's because the two of you are on two different pages. So if your person is pretty clear, like, I want a commitment, I want a relationship, I know what I want, but Sag is kind of in a place, and this is interesting because I did you guys opposite sign before you all, Gemini. So, check that out because that's your opposite sign. So that's letting you know shadow aspects and things of the sort. I saw something very similar for them as well. It's more or less because the two of you are on two different pages. It's looking like your person of interest knows what it is that they want. It's not to say that Sag doesn't know what it is that you want, but I feel that your past is very much present, if I could say it that way, because of these loose ends that need to be tied up. So you're not necessarily in an idealistic headspace to really move forward with someone. So that very much could be what's kind of contributing to this holding back, right? Because it's still having your energy oriented past tense. But I have to say, what it's looking like for me, at least in the overall energy between the two of you, your person of interest is pretty sure you are what they want, or that they're interested in you and want to move forward with you. But it's very much like I said with Gemini, Sag, it's not that you're not aware of this person or that you don't want the same thing. It's just whatever this is, past tense for you guys, there needs to be a period at the end of the sentence, because otherwise it's like your energy is going to be kind of split between what's happening now and what transpired in the past. Now, with your person of interest, we're getting into their more specific spread. And for those of you who aren't familiar with how I do this, first, we're looking at their fleeting thoughts, their conscious thoughts, their subconscious impressions and projections, which is something they are not aware of that they're 9 times out of 10 projecting onto you. And lastly, their feelings for you. So the first card out, we have the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. And then we have, okay, wait, I'm trying to see if everyone has clothes on. Okay, cool. The guy just has... he's shirtless. We have the star in the reverse. That is Aquarius energy. So, I mean, you guys literally may be dealing with an Aquarius person. Next card that we have, more Aquarius energy. We have the Hanged Man. And in their conscious thoughts towards you. Okay, wow. And here comes Gemini. We have the Lovers in the reverse. Interesting. So definitely check out Gemini, y'all. I'm just saying. But because yeah, we got three times Aquarius is showing up in major arcana forms. So maybe your person of interest is an Aquarius, so you guys have that in your chart somewhere. But what it is looking like in reference to their fleeting thoughts, how it is your person of interest is seeing you, said, is not really coming towards them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is interesting because, of course, the Hangman is my personal accountability card, but it's interesting how this is coming out because your person of interest sees you as holding yourself accountable. But how I'm feeling this, it's not just like regular personal accountability. It's almost like I would say this person knows y'all in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Whether this is like a coworker or like, say, if y'all aren't dating yet, and this is someone who's interested in you, this would have to be like a coworker or maybe a mutual friend or something like that, to where this person knows a little bit about your past to a certain extent. So if I were to say it this way, whatever it is that happened in your last relationship, this person knows a little bit about it, but it's almost like they feel like you're punishing yourself, like that type of holding yourself accountable. So it's like things didn't work out, but it's like you're punishing yourself for why things didn't work out. And to give you an example of what this would look like, it would be like, say if Sag like had a job where you had to travel out of town a lot, right? So it's like, you know, you're working in the office and they're like, oh, you know, we need you to fly to New York to handle this or whatever. And this is something that happens on a regular basis. So a lot of times you're out of town. And like for those of you who are in the South, like me, an example I could have of this with a job a lot of dudes have down here is like working offshore, right? Or, and I mean, this is all over the country, but like being a truck driver, right? So it's like if you work offshore or you're like a truck driver, or maybe, I don't know, like a homicide detective, right? It's like, it's one of those things where, you know, you get called and you're gone for an extended, you know, period of time. And, you know, you come back and you're home for a little bit and then you get up and, you know, go again. So say if Sag had a job kind of like that, and or even the military, that would be another example of this, like being deployed and stuff like that. So if you have a job like that where you're always gone, and say the reason why, you know, your relationship didn't work out with this person is because of the fact that you were constantly gone all the time, right? How your person of interest would be seeing it is that Sag is holding themselves accountable, i.e., blaming themselves for why the relationship didn't work out, because you know that you work all the time. So it's almost something about you, like why I say it that way, because like with this other person knowing it, it's something about Sag that is clearly seen by other people. So it's not like a, you know, like a inner behind the scenes emotional type of thing that everybody would know about. It's something that's very clear about Sag and their life and their lifestyle. I'll say it that way. It's something very clear about Sag's lifestyle that everyone who knows Sag would know. Why I say like a job where you're gone for extended periods and other people making a simple connection of like, wow, that must be really hard for the partner because this person is constantly gone a lot. So that's like general information that people would know, and they'd also be able to make the connection of how Sag has been behaving up to this point, of seeing it like you're punishing yourself because that you working all the time contributed to this person being upset and not wanting that, and the relationship not working out. But with this Two of Pentacles in the reverse, as well as the Star in the reverse, how they're kind of weighing you out is like in the context of you not necessarily being interested in wanting to move forward with anything, because they feel that you're still kind of grieving over or depressed about this relationship. Now, here's the thing that's interesting, and this is what I'm picking up on intuitively. I feel that with your past relationship, Sag, this feels like this broke up a while ago. This doesn't feel to me like something recent. And I mean, and I would say even more so with this World card being here as well. It's kind of like this is a cycle that has been supposed to wrap up. So kind of like, I don't know if it was 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, this person left you and you've been single like for the last 2 years. And this person is seeing you as like not over this past situation, because it's like you're still blaming yourself for it, and almost like self-punishing yourself. It's like, because it's my fault that, my past partner left me, like I no longer deserve to be happy, is how I feel your person is kind of and mind you, like this is how they're thinking. That doesn't mean that that's really how Sag is feeling, but this is how they're more or less perceiving the situation. So, and I mean, another way I could see this, dude, which is kind of interesting and sad, is if Sag had a partner that passed away. That's another way that I could see this. So this could be somebody who's kind of in your stratosphere that you're cool with, that you're friends with, or what have you. And it's a relationship that ended for Sag, and it could have ended by your person passing away, like the person you were with. And it would still be that same thing of how it is that they're seeing you as kind of holding yourself hostage to the past. Like, because my partner passed away, how could I move on? How could I date someone else? Like I'm not allowed to, be happy. I don't, I shouldn't be able to fall in love again, because it's kind of holding this allegiance to the past person. But it's like, in that case, this would be someone that you're like friends with and you're cool with them, or you work with them or something. And this person has developed feelings for you and wants to move forward with you, but they very much see that you aren't over your past person, like, your person who passed away type of deal, And in their conscious thoughts with the Lovers in the reverse, it's very much saying like they feel a connection with you, but it's more or less very much you not choosing to want to move forward or want to be in any type of connection. But they feel all of this has to do with this past person, regardless if it's, them leaving you because you work too much, or the person actually passing away. But I use those as examples of the energy signature I'm picking up on. For each of you specifically, it could be a myriad of different things, but those two energy signatures are the main consensus I'm kind of getting of what I'm feeling. So it's kind of Sag holding themselves hostage in singlehood, because it's like a feeling of how, and like I'm saying, this may not be how you perceive your situation. This is just how they're perceiving it. But it's almost like Sag is holding themselves hostage in singledom, because it's this feeling of, I don't deserve to move forward because of what I've done, or I should not bring another person into my life because I don't want to hurt another person the way that I hurt my past person, because I still have the same job. Or, with my partner passing away, what kind of human being would I be if I tried to love someone else, when they're no longer with us? So that's kind of how it is that your person of interest is perceiving you. So they're seeing you as closed off to potentially moving forward, but they're desiring to move forward with you. Now, their subconscious impression Interesting. She has clothes on, thank goodness. Okay, we have the high priestess in the reverse, and that is Pisces energy. Some people say Cancer, but that's Piscean energy. So with your person of interest, uh, I wouldn't go as far as saying they're like an atheist or something, but when it comes to like how they navigate things is very logical and it's kind of devoid of intuition, and this is interesting how I'm seeing this Sagittarius, because I think Sag might actually like that if a person navigated that way. It's almost like, okay, if we look at this person's perception towards you, right? It's like, oh, Sag isn't ready to move forward. They're like self-punishing themselves type of thing. That is a very, and I know that may sound weird, but at least to me, in my opinion, that's a very logical rationalization of things, which is interesting. It is not the thought, like they're not thinking like, oh, like Sag would never like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not their type. It's not that. It's just like, yeah, this is definitely what they have going on. Now, the thing with this is this person not necessarily integrating or considering intuitive or spiritual matters or gut instincts into, their day-to-day livings and doings and things of the sort. It's like, I feel like they could end up missing a lot of nuanced information, right? They can miss a lot of nuance. So say hypothetically, like how it is that I'm feeling this energy signature is, say Sag is in this headspace, right? That they're right. They've surmised the situation correctly, right? And Sag is feeling like, I don't, like my partner passed away, like how could I ever love again type of thing, right? So that's the headspace that Sag is in. If this person were to be in tune with these nuances, like intuitive information type of deal, then they could almost utilize emotional intelligence to where, and empathy as well, to where they could put themselves in your shoes. And while they're conversing with you, this is so interesting how I'm seeing this, because it's like I'm seeing two people and I'm like, this is totally how it works when people are communicating with each other. But it's almost like when this person is communicating with you, if they were in tune with this, it's almost like in conversation, they could find an opening to where they could kind of say something without saying it, or they could connect with Sag on a deeper level. But because they're not in tune with that or don't even consider that, it's almost like a very, I don't want to say rigid. It's like regimented. It's like a regimented, structured 1+1=2 approach that they have to things. And I feel it's like very black and white almost. So it's like mechanical of how it is that they would be approaching things. And how it would make sense to me is, like I said, a person who either lacks emotional intelligence or lacks social graces, like of, knowing how to, and I mean, if they were an Aquarius, I mean, no offense to Aquarius people, not saying Aquarius people are not emotionally intelligent or lack social graces. It's just my best friend is an Aquarius and I know a lot of Aquarius. It's just they're straight shooters. You know what I'm saying? It kind of like, this is what it is type of deal. And they don't really finesse stuff a lot. It's just kind of like, this is what we're doing, right? And it's like, the sky is blue, grass is green, and it's very 1+1=2. But I've never known an Aquarius, at least not in my lifespan, that's ever been like a finesser, like a, like, I don't want to say snake oil salesman because that gives it like a negative connotation, but it's like, an Aquarius to me convinces, if they were trying to sell someone on something, they would sell you via the statistics and the facts and the data of, this is a product created for this, you use it for this and it works. Here's all the research that shows that it works, period, at the end of the sentence. And a person is sold just off of the proof. Like, they're not going to come and try to sell you emotionally. Like, do you have this problem? Are you ever stressed out about this? Do you feel this? Well, this thing would solve all of your problems. That's not, to me, how an Aquarius would ever try to, convince someone of something. So I can kind of see that in a sense, but how this works in transit is with them seeing or perceiving Sag to be struggling with this particular thing, it's limiting their options on how to connect with you because they're thinking of it more in a headspace like, what do you say to someone in this situation? Or how would I even come to talk to them about that? How do you tell a person who just, lost their partner? Well, not just, but a person who lost their partner. How do you even tell them that you're interested in them? But so it's like for them, I feel like it's limiting their possibility, which is why, like, I really feel this person is kind of in the wings with you and probably isn't even giving off the vibes that they're even interested in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly feel this person would be hanging around like a friend, to where if Sag even found out this person was interested in them, they'd be like stunned, like, you've liked me for how long? Because they're not really giving that off. But I feel that's all coming from this fact that, I don't know, they're like a very heady kind of person. I could even go as far as to say, dude, and I'm not saying this for everyone, I could even go as far as to say there could be a little denial with this person as well. You know what I'm saying? With them not even wanting to acknowledge how it is that they feel about you in a sense, and consistently calling this like you're my friend, you're my best friend, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. And they actually, like, the thing that keeps them around in a sense is because they actually have feelings for you, but it's like they're not even acknowledging that themselves. It's like them being oblivious to that in some sense or another. That's fascinating, but I don't necessarily feel that for everyone. That's kind of like a minute type of deal, because that's a little convoluted within itself. But it's like a person being in complete denial. It's like, no, dude, you clearly like her. No, dude, I don't like her at all. Like, she's my friend, she's like my sister, or he's like my brother. You know what I mean? But the way that the person behaves towards you, it kind of transcends past a friendship. Like, it's kind of like, and I mean, and I'm saying this as someone who, like, has had a best friend that's a boy, like, since childhood. You know what I mean? Like, since we were little kids, we've been friends. And because I know, like, a lot of people, sometimes when you have a person you call a best friend, like, you used to date and then you became friends or something. But I say, like, as a person who's had like a male best friend since childhood, it's a different kind of connection that you have, like, as opposed to you being friends with someone that you liked or dated at some point in time. It's like a different kind of thing, to where it's literally like, this is like my brother. I've known this person since I was in diapers. Like, I can't even see them through that lens type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, you used to have a romantic relationship and then you broke up and then became friends because you have a lot in common. I would mean more on the side of like someone you've been friends with, like, raised together. I could never see this person like that type of deal. Not that one, but literally, well, I mean, like, literally that one, but being in denial of the fact that you have feelings for this person. But everyone who knows you guys are like, this is transcending past even the fact that, you guys are like friends, because best friends don't do stuff like that with each other type of deal. That's kind of like the energy that I'm picking up on. You know what I'm saying? But I feel with this, I hope and pray that that makes sense, y'all. When I be seeing these energy signatures, sometimes I be trying to make sense out of them. And I hope and pray that, it's translating, because this is a little convoluted to put into to words. So I hope and pray that that's making sense. But anywho, how it is that this person would be projecting that onto you is like their own self-denial. It's like them seeing you in that light. So how this would kind of look, this person would see it as, oh yeah, it should be like totally clear that I'm into Sag, right? Because like I'm always here, I'm always doing all of the things, right? Like, I'm always here for them to show them like I'm into you, right? And them feeling like, they're totally oblivious to it. Like, I'm showing in every way, shape, form, or fashion that I'm into you, but they're not recognizing that. Why are they not recognizing it? Oh, it has to be because they're, being masochistic, and they're holding themselves accountable because they blame themselves for working offshore, right? of this is why their partner left them, right? And I don't want to hurt anyone else that way, you know? When in reality, if the shoe was on the other foot, that's very much how that person would be reacting in that situation. So I feel with them, I don't know, it's almost like a little bit of a fear, I would say, because it reminds me a lot of Gemini. I mean, it's not as bad because Gemini's person was a little extra, but it's kind of like this person creating a whole narrative in their head and never really communicating this with Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? And I do kind of feel that essence, which I said in Gemini as well, of like emotional unavailability in this person kind of being attracted to a person who's emotionally unavailable. So like a person whose focus isn't on them kind of being drawn to that a little bit. So it's like that desire for long suffering love. Like, you know, I have to wait in the winds and, you know, be the best person possible, do so much for them, bend over backwards, show up whenever it is that they need me. And hopefully one day somewhere out there in the future, that it's kind of like pick me energy a little bit, just a smidget. And again, this person wouldn't see themselves as a pick me, but it is kind of pick me energy where it's showing up as the best person possible and hoping that, like I said, someday out there somewhere in the future, this person sees like, oh my gosh, all this time it was you, you know, because you did the whole long suffering thing. You showed up for the person, you were always there, and now suddenly they see it and they choose you type of deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little concerning, you know. But where that issue comes in is because of them not really tuning in or picking up on nuance. What they're perceiving is going on with you may not be the case at all if you were not remotely at all interested in them, right? They wouldn't pick up on the nuance of that at all, because it's like they're kind of looking at these hints and creating a whole thing in their head of what it is that they feel is happening and not really conversing with you about it, if that's making sense. Now, their feelings towards you, oh my goodness. Let me cover this person up. It's the 8 of Swords. That is not an idealistic thing to have in feelings, but that goes back exactly to what it is that I'm saying. It's like feeling stuck in a cycle that they can't necessarily get out of, which goes back to what I was saying with this High Priestess and the reverse. It's like this person is cut off from their intuition for whatever reason, and they're not picking up on nuance. And I wholeheartedly feel, Sag, and I mean, you guys would have to be the ones to tell me. So definitely let me know in the comments, because y'all know I'm nosy. If this person were to tune into their intuition, right, or have some level of self-honesty, I feel like they would see this situation a lot clearer, because I really feel, and I mean, whether you're doing this intentionally or not, Sag, I feel there's a lot Sag is left on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel if I were to walk into this situation and stand in your person's shoes, if I were to look at the whole picture, I feel like I would kind of pick up what's being put down and get a gist of what's actually happening. You know what I'm saying? But with this person, I don't know. It's almost like there's a lot of stuff that's staring them in the face about this situation, and they're not seeing it, because it's like a level of obliviousness. And it doesn't even, like, when I say intuition, I mean that's why I use like emotional intelligence, you know what I'm saying, and nuance, because it's kind of like reading between the lines, right? Like saying something without saying it. Like the same way that, you know, if you think of when you're watching a movie, like an establishing shot. It's, you know, we're saying it's an establishing shot picture of a school, and now suddenly, you know, we're standing in this hallway. They didn't have to literally say, hey, we're at a high school or hey, we're at a college. The establishing shot flashing a university or a high school said it without saying it, like it's a nuance. So now when we see these people standing here, it's sending a message to us of saying, okay, this person's at school. You feel what I'm saying? It's stuff like that that this person isn't picking up on. So, I mean, whether, where it is that Sag actually is or isn't, I feel that Sag you could be doing it intentionally, but I doubt it. Because, like I said, you're not really present right now. But I feel it's almost like inadvertent breadcrumbs that you've dropped that this person could have picked up on to see where it is that you're at. But just the way that they are, you know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, they're only looking at facts. And with the facts that they have, how they're putting the pieces together isn't necessarily in their favor. But mind you, in the midst of all of this, I honestly don't feel that Sag even knows that any of this is even going on. And that's what I think is interesting, because it was the same thing with Gemini. Their person of interest was having this whole thing, just like your person of interest has this whole thing, created this whole narrative of what it is that's going on with Sag and why Sag doing what they're doing and not doing what they're doing. And Sag is none the wiser. Sag is just like, I'm doing stuff, living life, trying to figure some things out, and I feel for this person, what would behoove them if they wanted to like kind of get into, your inner recesses and things of the sort. If they were to pick up on those nuances, they would know exactly how to approach you or exactly what to say that would allow them to get that receptivity from you. But it's like they're leaving a lot of, I don't know how that phrase goes, like leaving a lot of chips on the table or leaving money on the table or something like that. I think it's a poker reference. If you know it, say it in the comments, because I always be saying stuff wrong. But all in all, it's like their whole feelings is that they're stuck here and almost as if they can't move forward, which just isn't the truth. Because I feel the message with the Eight of Swords is the same. Just looking at it generally with tarot, it's like the solution to the mind binding that people find themselves in with the Eight of Swords is the emotions, right? It's like if you were to follow the trail of water, if we're talking right away, if you follow the trail of water, the person would find their way out of this, seemingly, mental prison that they're really not in. The only reason why the person feels as if there's no way out is because they're only looking at it logic with the mind, right? They're not, they're understanding the limitations, but they're not overstanding it. And the only way you can gain the overstanding is via intuition, the, water aspects. But they're turned off to that. And because they're turned off to that, how they would naturally approach situations, which is from a very limited headspace, they're projecting that same limitation onto Sag, So all of this stuff, if Sag literally, your partner passed away 2 years ago, hypothetically, with the world in reverse, Sag could be in a place to where you're starting to get ready, like you've grieved, and now you're at a place where it's like, okay, I think it's time for me to start to date again. You could be in that space, but this person of interest wouldn't even see that you were anywhere remotely there. Or maybe you were beating yourself up over the fact that you work so much or prioritized your job over your relationship. But it's like you're coming to terms with that and working through it and coming to a place to where you'll be ready to open up. But your person wouldn't even pick up on that. Like they would still be seeing you where it is that you were as opposed to where you are, if that's making sense. So, the only thing I can say, Sag, if you know who this person is, like if you have an idea of like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? You have a friend that's a friend that's been there for you and has been kind of hanging around. The only thing I could really see is like having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? You'd probably have to be very straightforward because I literally feel like if there's any type of nuanced information, it would go over their head. They wouldn't get it. Like you could be saying in 1,000 ways, like, I like you and I'm ready to date you. And they would just be like, they still upset over the ex. They still depressed, not pick up the nuance. So however this resonates with you, let me know, because I find this energy to be fascinating. Y'all definitely let me know in the comments, what is this scenario for you guys? Because I would love to see how this is playing out in real life. But anywho, Sag, that has been your connection session for April. Let me know the tea in the comments, and I love your face, and I will see you guys sooner